Buddy, Draymond said that when you walked in, you were walking a little pep in your step, like you were walking a little bit different today. Was there something just about this day that you felt like, okay, you were going to get it going?
Tell Draymond I'm playing a big game tonight. No, but I was just locked in, just trying to find my joy. And I've never been in a situation before, and just trying to seize the moment and relish the moment, and just be in the moment at the same time, and enjoy the moment. And it was fun. A lot of nerves at first though, so I gotta be myself. If I'm not acting normal in the locker room, everybody, it's not normal. So just trying to be myself. But tonight was fun. Thank all glory to God.
How'd you get rid of those nerves? Was that just that first shot going in? That do it or?
I was talking to Loon earlier, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I'm starting tonight because I don't know how it have been coming to the bench, because coming to the bench on a game 7 has been really hard, So just starting to get all the jitters out. It's a childhood dream, We all talk about game 7s. We all want to play in game 7s, but actually playing in the game 7 and getting prepared for it is one of the hardest things ever. And I'm just, thank God for my mom and everybody that prepared me, put me in a situation that I can be prepared, being mentally and spiritually prepared for this. And my teammates, of course, Jimmy and Steph and Dre, those vets, they've been in the fire before and they know what it's like, and just follow their lead.
Steph and Clay over the years have talked about what it's like to be in the zone where it feels like the basket's enormous and everything's going in. What does it feel like for you tonight when you get hot like that?
Yeah.
And unrelated, what did Jimmy say to you after the game?
It was being in the zone is very spiritual, just you and that rim and the net and the ball, and you just figuring it out. And sometimes you put anything up and it just goes in, but just being at peace with your game. No, Jimmy didn't say nothing to me yet. I'm not gonna get on Jimmy yet. I'm gonna keep it calm. But today I had to fill this role in for them in the first half. He was slacking, but we all weathered the storm, and it was a great team win collectively. Everybody they did everything in spurts, and we finally get out of the zone.
You talk about being in the zone when you made that 40-footer.
Yeah. When I shot it, I know I had a chance, and I didn't know it was going there. I know I had a chance, and it was, like I say, I always want to give it a chance. And I felt when that opened up, when I went in, that just helped me really come more relaxed. And I didn't celebrate too much because I know we had 3 more quarters to go.
You mentioned this is your first time through it with this team. What was Draymond's speech like last night? What did that mean, just hearing that and knowing about this team, knowing about him, and have him talk about his own accountability, talk about what this means to him and to everybody?
It just shows true leadership. That's what it's meant. That's what leadership is about. He let us know that in Game 6 he wasn't being himself, and I'm sure y'all talked to him what he said, but just him just letting us know what we had to do to complete this mission tonight, and it was fun listening to him. And just like I say, I wanted to play right then because it gave me so much chills. It was very emotional, and guys was nodding their head, and when a guy like that speak, who's won 4 championships, who's been in the finals 6 times, he know what it takes to win. And just having that confidence and phone his lead, he's just true professional, true leader, and a true example.
But his zone defense turned out to be a big part of this series tonight on both ends of the floor. What can you say about how you guys defended them and how y'all attacked their zone?
We finally cracked the make shot to get the zone. They stopped playing the zone. That was the deal, but we couldn't figure it out. And then after that, I think tonight we used Steph different, and we didn't kept him on the ball, and we was able to adjust to a lot of things. And like I say, for you to be a zone, you got to make shots. And we made shots, and we took them out of it, and we forced them to guard our players like Steph and Jimmy. And we know that they're all world in that categories, and we're just trying to make them go 1-on-1 against our best players.
All right, we're ready for Jimmy.
Here we go. Thank you.
What can you say about what Buddy did tonight for you guys?
He was huge. The 33 points were great. 9 threes, incredible. But what he did on the defensive end was even more impressive. He took on every matchup that he had, whether it was Jalen, Fred, all over the ball, and the ball handler. He ended up with Sengun on the post. Made him force a miss. Knocked the ball out. We was able to come up with the loose ball. He made winning plays all night. Huge game for him, 37 minutes. I'm not sure he's played that amount of minutes all year. But stayed the course. When we needed him most, he delivered. And if I didn't throw him a grenade, he would have been 9 for 10 for 3, but I threw him a grenade, so I'll take that one.
Draymond, coach, before you came in, he said that your emotions played a big part in this. What was that conversation with the team before you guys came out tonight?
I thought, my people I trust in most had, we had some heart-to-hearts after last game. My wife, one of my closest friends, Travis, my barber is one of my closest friends, Coach Izzo, and I pouted way too much last game. So I spent the last 2 days embarrassed, just at what I gave to the game, what I gave to the world. I was embarrassed, and so I've been dying since the last game ended to get out on the floor and prove who I am. One thing about this league, you're never done proving who you are until you're done, completely finished. And so I wanted to come out and prove again just who I am, with poise, but with the same fire, same tenacity, but poise. And I think I delivered that and gave our guys something to follow. What I gave them last game to follow, they followed it. And that's why we got bullied. But I think I gave them something different to follow today. And that was the message, that was the goal. We got it done.
Draymond, Steve said that you set the tone last night at the team dinner with that speech. What goes into deciding to give that speech, and what was the reception from the rest of your teammates?
Well, I think what goes into it is really deciding who's going to get a speech. Obviously, I always try to defer to Steph, defer to Jimmy, and they wanted me to speak. But I had a lot to say. And like I said, most importantly was calling myself out. You can't go into a game 7 expecting guys to rally off the game we had before and not address it. And so I wanted to address that, number one. But then secondly, tell everybody else what we needed, which was a togetherness like no other, in our huddles together, trusting in each other and believing. And so I thought it was much needed. But as much as I think this team needed it, I feel like I needed it for myself even more. Because you got to be accountable. You can't be a leader and not be accountable. And you call other guys out. When their shit stinks, then you better say when yours does too. And that's what I tried to make a point in doing.
After 13 years and 6 Game 7s together with Steph, what does it mean to you to walk off the court after a game like that?
It means a lot, especially losing a 3-1 lead, having to come on the road and win it. Means a ton to continue playing at this level, having the opportunity to compete at this level. And it's a little more special that we've done it here before. So it's a familiar feeling.
Draymond, couldn't help notice you and Steve having a shoot around, mostly Steve talking and you listening. Just what was kind of the mood of that one?
Just really setting the tone for what he needed from me today, which is poise, leadership. But he had some great words. He gave me a story, a few different stories. They were great, but I think the gist of it was just, you've done so much. Whether we win or lose this game, when it's all said and done at the end of your career, nobody will remember. So go out, have fun with poise, give your guys something to follow. He told me you're one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, and one of the greatest leaders I've been around. So it's my job to let you know what your leadership should be tonight, like how you need to lead, what that needs to look like for tonight. It's my job to prepare you for that. My job to get you ready emotionally to play. And it's one of the better conversations we've ever had, and we've had some great ones. But that one I'll remember for the rest of my life.
You talked about the huddles. I noticed you had a huddle right before the start, before tip-off, maybe in a different kind of way. It definitely sounded or felt like it was a little more emotional. Was that a big moment for you?
It was definitely a big moment for us, for me, for us. The emotions in the Game 7 run high, and we just wanted to make sure we were on the right side of that. Not tightening up, because you got to be loose, but understanding what every possession means. Understanding that we weren't giving our energy to anything outside of ourselves. And thinking, setting that tone, we did that.
How would you contextualize this series for Steph, with just the way that he defended him, the way he performed, and then finishing with 14 fourth quarter
that
points
was huge. That's why he is who he is. He just made the simple play tonight. Had 3 points for a lot of the game, and then he bust out. But he made the right play. He just moved the ball on and trusted other guys to make the play because of how they was guarding him. And it's a beautiful game to see him close it out. He knew once, like, all right, now it's time for me to take over and take this thing home. It was beautiful, man. But I want to give a lot of credit to that team down there. Ime, the way he had those guys fighting, I gained a lot of respect for that team throughout this series. One of the tougher series I've played in, personally. But that's a young team to be reckoned with. And I told myself I was going to talk crazy because they have been talking crazy all series and on the internet, but I gained so much respect for those guys. Sengun is an incredible player. The way Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams led those guys, they had no experience, and they led them, took us to the brink. That team's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I hope they understand it. Things can change fast in this league. You're only on the up until you're not, But they got something promising that they can continue to build on. Jabari Smith, incredible. He played like a vet this whole series, getting his spots, knocking big shots down. A lot of respect for those guys.
Draymond, Steve talked about meaningful basketball and being able to play it this time of year. When you go back to the trade deadline and all what's proceeded since then, are these the kind of games you were thinking about playing when the trade happened and just in this moment?
Absolutely. This is exactly what the trade was for, to get back to this level, play meaningful basketball, as Steph has been saying all year. And Jimmy, which is what he's been to this group, has allowed us to be in this position to continue our season and possibly do something special.
Dre, you talked about winning the championship shortly after the trade on All-Star Weekend, but now that you have gone, you still have to go through the war. Like, now that you've gone through a 7-game battle, what do you feel this group is capable of doing moving forwards in the next round?
I think this group is capable of exactly what we set out to do, which is win a championship. We know the things that we need to improve on and continue to get better at, but I got the utmost confidence in this group. Didn't want to go 7 games, but it won't hurt us with that experience that our young guys got the opportunity to get. But I think we're right where we need to be, right where we want to be, with an opportunity to continue to extend this thing, and we believe. Yeah, I mean, I was never rattled, but, with every win, I think that grows.
When you talk about feeling embarrassed the past couple of days leading into tonight, how do you use that as fuel, and how do you, in what ways do you channel that feeling onto the court?
Well, I had to channel it in a different way because that could lead you to, come out and I want it so bad. I actually went the opposite way. I listened to all slow music the last couple of days, just kind of calm myself down, went to the spa, meditate, because I know I can ratchet my intensity up. I know I'm going to meet the intensity level, but I felt like I was going too far. I listened to Checkout Time on the way to the game the other day, and that was the exact mindset I had going into that game. So wanted to change it up a little bit today. Some Brent Fayez, SZA, 90s R&B, just kind of completely changed it up. So it was good for me.
Jalen Green came into the series, their leading scorer, and y'all had different guys on him throughout the series. And I think just one game he was able to get off. How were y'all able to corral him, kind of keep him in check throughout the series? I
think doing your work early. We did a good job on him to start the series, and I think that kind of rattled his confidence a little bit. This isn't something he's been a part of before. He's a good young player. He'll learn from his mistakes. But you got to give the guys credit that was guarding him. Buddy, Steph, BP, GP, JK, anybody who was on him, he was a focal point in trying to take him out of this series. We know what they're capable of when he's scoring. And so we really wanted to take him out of the series, and I think we did a good job of it. But like I said, he's a good young player. He'll grow. He'll continue to learn from this. Tough first experience for him, but he's not the first young up-and-coming star to have a tough experience in the playoffs. Won't be the last. I think he'll continue to grow from it. He got a great coach to lead him. Fred, great leader to lead him, and I think he'll grow from it. But, I got to give our guys a lot of credit and our coaching staff a lot of credit with the game plan on them.
Draymond, how would you describe sort of the vibe when Buddy gets in that zone? And related to that, any interaction with him and Jimmy? Him and Jimmy have gone back and forth. And what was tonight like? I mean, did Jimmy say anything afterward, or what was that?
I didn't catch any of their banter tonight, but Buddy was huge. And ironically, I could see just the way he was walking this morning, like the way he was talking, like he was so engaged, and he delivered on the biggest stage. Got to give him his credit. It was huge for us. Sure, it was big for his confidence. We're going to need that Buddy to continue on. And it won't be 9 threes every night, but just the intensity and focus level that he had. Should get on, in these playoffs, it becomes more and more important.
You mentioned kind of your mindset shift from Game 6 to Game 7, the need for kind of a calmer version of yourself. You're about to go to Minnesota, quick turnaround. Gobert, the size of Minnesota. What do you need to do in that series? And I guess how do you have to keep that similar type?
Yeah, I have to keep it similar for my guys. Forget anybody else. But for my guys, I need to stay that way. So I'll be locked in. It'll be good. But finding that balance, finding that line, not crossing it is important for me and this team. And I gave them my word. I'll continue to give them my word.
Hey, Draymond, Steve said he didn't have you guys ready for last game. Apparently you were ready this game. What did he do to help that process?
Number one was coming into the locker room right after Game 6 and saying that's on me. I ain't had y'all ready to play. So the accountability and leadership, number one. But number two, just the belief. I would tell y'all, Steve's so calm in these situations. Everybody get rattled, he just be just like this. So when you have a coach that walks in like that, it settles everybody down. And, obviously he's the best in the business when it comes to game plans this time of year.
There were some pretty jubilant scenes with you and Steph late in the game. There's been some hostility with the Houston crowd. Do you guys enjoy playing in this arena and winning in this city?
It's always fun winning in the city and winning in this arena. So Fred had made a comment earlier in the series, said this ain't that team. It's that organization, though. And we like coming to this city and playing in these situations. It's been good to us. And also, I think what you saw from us is, like, this stuff is hard, man. He told me the other day, he said, I got a question, and they were saying, like, yo, this is tougher than it used to be. It's like, man, no, it ain't. It's always been hard. And we know how hard it is. It just looked easy, but it's always been hard. And so just, to get over that first hump, you feel good about it, enjoy it, appreciate it tonight, and move on from it tomorrow.
Draymond, there was a lot of, back and forth physicality throughout this entire series, between you and the other teams. You and some of the other players. But at the end of the day, all of them gave you respect and said that you're a very good player. Fred just got through talking about how good of a person you are, good of a player you are. What does that mean to you, knowing that all of the negative things you hear about yourself, but knowing that the players respect you like that?
It's always about respect from your peers. Fans will feel how they feel. The public will feel how they feel. It's okay. I'm really not here to appease to them. But when you got respect amongst your peers, that's the most important thing. And like I said, they earned my respect. Always got a lot of love for Fred. We've had our battles, but Fred is a stand-up guy. The way he led those guys this year, coming in last year, is tough. Continued to lead, believe. Brought to carry this team to a 2 seed. We're probably an average age of 24. So special. But Fred is a special leader. I told y'all the other day, he's the reason we lost to Toronto. Everybody tried to make like, he's not giving Kawhi respect. No, it's not that. Fred was that X factor. He we had no matchup for him. We couldn't get matched up with him, and he beat us. Big shot after big shot. But it's a lot. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for those guys, man. They took us to the brink. They never backed down from anything. They got a bright future. If they can continue to work and put it together, really bright future. 'Cause that's a tough team, athletic, dogs. Didn't back down at all. So I got a lot of love and respect for those guys. They made me better this series. I had to get better in order for us to win this series. And that was because of what they did.
First of all, I want to congratulate Houston. What a series that was. They had a great season. A lot of good things ahead for that team. Ime did an amazing job. And really the whole rebuild over the last couple of years has been so impressive. And we were lucky to get out of this series. But much respect to the Rockets and their staff and their organization. They have a great team and they had a great season. Couldn't be more proud of our guys. That was an incredibly impressive display of resolve, discipline. The defense was fantastic. The ball security, kind of game plan discipline, followed to a T, and then multiple guys stepping up. Buddy Hield, I don't know what to say. I mean, that was really incredible watching him light it up in that first half, especially, and then down the stretch as well. But I can't say enough about our guys and what they were able to do in this series and to pull this thing out on the road in Game 7. Pretty impressive.
Steve, they cut a 15-point lead down to like 3. Jimmy gets that corner 3 out of a double team, and then he finds Draymond twice. And then it looks like maybe in the huddle between the third and fourth, you guys make an adjustment to get Steph attacking the rim a little bit, and you got him free. What did you guys do there?
Well, it's always matchup based, and so if you can find an advantage with the personnel they have on the floor, then you try to get Steph in pick and roll with a particular player or two, and I think it just kind of played out that way. The way the game was going, they've done a great job of taking away the Steph Draymond pick and roll all series by putting Fred VanVleet on Draymond and putting their center on one of our wings, and so that was really a great strategic move for them. And I think in the fourth quarter, because of the matchups, we were able to get Draymond back in the pick and roll with Steph a couple of times. I thought Steph was brilliant tonight. I know he got off to a slow start shooting the ball, but the whole key to the game was taking care of the ball, and he managed the game beautifully. And it's just a matter of time before his shot goes in. But the reason we had the 11-point lead at half or whatever it was, 12, was because of the way Steph took care of the ball, got us into our offense, and settled the game down.
Steve, you've been through so much with Steph and Draymond. This was their 6th Game 7 together. What can you say about the tone that Draymond set on Şengün and obviously the way that Steph was able to close it out?
Draymond set the tone last night at the team meeting. Basically, he owned up to losing his poise in Game 6, and I agreed with him. I thought the flagrant foul 4 minutes into the game was a tone setter, and he knew it, and so he talked to the group last night and said, "I got to be poised, and I have to be better, and we're going to come in here tomorrow and get it done." And I think his emotional stability tonight, just his poise from the start, I thought it set a great tone.
Steve, you said last night that you were considering all options for the lineup. How close? I mean, Buddy didn't play that great the last 2 games. How close were you to not starting him? And what about tonight's game? Did he get more space than he's gotten? Or
I never wavered on starting Buddy. The lineup that we started tonight has been by far our best 5-man unit in this series, and so I knew I was going to stay with Buddy. I like the way that group looks. We knew they were going to play a lot of zone. We finally got better spacing against the zone, and we were able to get some good looks. And of course, Buddy, getting hot changed the whole game in the first half.
Steve, is this the kind of team that does an unusual amount of introspection between games, especially going into a tough game like this, and more talking among themselves? Is this a kind of
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I said, Draymond really he's our leader, and when he's right, like he was tonight, he's an incredible player to watch. The defense just kind of owning the court on that side of things, and then just being patient and not turning it over and being in the right spots offensively. So I think the guys understood after Game 6. We were scattered. We were out of sorts. I didn't do a good job getting them ready. I think we let our guard down, frankly, in Game 6. And so tonight was as good as it gets in terms of focus and the players executing the game plan and just showing resolve for 48 minutes.
You mentioned a few times that this was like a difficult series for Draymond offensively because of what they're doing. How much is that mental for him too? When your strategy at that point has to be him to kind of get away from the action, how much do you think that is tough for him to just kind of be out of the fray?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Ime did a great job and his staff of, trying to take Draymond out of things with matchups, with the way they were playing, with zone, and he was definitely flustered, quite a bit throughout the series. And I just thought, today at shoot around last night at the meeting, you could see Draymond. You could see a change in his approach, basically admitting, like, I've lost my poise and it's cost us, and I will be there, to do my job tonight. And I thought he was incredible.
Steve, you were able to hold the Rockets to just 18 3-point attempts, and Fred VanVleet only got, I think, 6 shot attempts from distance. Was there any sort of adjustment when it came to making sure the Rockets didn't go off from 3? Or?
Well, the biggest thing we did was we battled for every 50-50 ball. It seemed like they got all of them last game, and there were so many kick-out threes after loose balls, long rebounds. And even though they got 14 offensive boards tonight, we were in the fight every single loose ball, long rebound. And then after they got the rebound, we were sprinting out to three-point shooters, which we didn't do in Game 6. So I thought that was a crucial part of the game today.
Byproduct of playing in a Game 7 and having your season on the line.
No question. The Game 7 on the road, if you don't bring it, you're going home, and our guys brought it.
Just how would you, big picture, contextualize this series for Steph, what he navigated, the arc of the series, and then the way he was able to finish?
The main thing is I'm blown away by Steph's competitive fight. At 37, been doing this forever. Got 4 rings, gold medal, everything he could possibly want in his life, he's got. He has nothing to prove, and yet he's going to come in and try to prove something every single night. It's amazing. Draymond too, Jimmy too, and that's the common theme, the common denominator with all these guys. It's their competitive force, that how much they love to play and compete and win, and the process of going through it and putting themselves on the line. The fact that these guys continue to put themselves on the line year after year after year, it just blows me away. The competitive spirit and energy and love for the game. It's beautiful to watch.
You talk about that competitive spirit with them. What about a guy like Buddy, who's known more for his sort of personality in the locker room and keeping things light and all the joking, but obviously to produce the way he did in this setting, there has to be some of that in him too.
I thought his defense was tremendous tonight too. One of the keys to the game was Fred VanVleet only got 2 free throws. Fred has just destroyed us the last 3 games. He's had an amazing series. He completely flipped things with his play. Last game we fouled him several times, on his mid-range stuff, pull-ups. And I thought Buddy did a great job on him and on Green. So this was not just a lights out shooting performance from Buddy. It was also it was a two-way performance. I thought his defense was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason everybody loves Buddy. You know, he's just fun-loving. He's hilarious. He can laugh at himself, but he loves to play basketball and he loves to work at the game. And you know, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and he's had a really successful career. But this is really his first real playoff run, and I think he is relishing it. And the guys, they see how much he loves it and how much he wants to contribute. And what a night for him.
Steve, looking ahead to the second round, what are your thoughts on just the matchup with Minnesota and especially Anthony Edwards?
I'm not talking about Minnesota right now. We'll talk about them tomorrow. So we're just gonna enjoy the win tonight and you know, spend the night, and we'll get ready for Minnesota tomorrow. But we're excited. We're thrilled. I mean, when I think back to the trade deadline where we were as a team, I'm so proud of these guys for what they've accomplished to put us in a position, you know, as Steph says, to play meaningful basketball and to give ourselves a chance. And this is all you want every year. You know, do you have a chance? And we've got a chance with this group, and they're an amazing group of men to coach and to be with and to collaborate with, and couldn't be more proud. Thank you.